Hey everybody, Green Films Official here, and today I'm going to be reviewing two relatively recent major science fiction blockbuster franchise films, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Furiosa. And yeah, I know both of these films came out like a month ago, but shut up. Starting off with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and man, do I sure have some thoughts about this one. So, this is set many years after the events of the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy, and centers around a young ape named Noah. Apes are basically the dominant species of planet Earth now. They're all these, different tribes and villages. And it turns out there's this kingdom of apes ran by the weird, creepy, and evil Proximus Caesar. He has this, army that he sends to kidnap other apes for his kingdom and to hunt down humans and stuff. And he's also got this vault that he's got his slaves trying to open because he's trying to obtain knowledge of, evolution and human technology. So, yeah, pretty bad guy. Wait, hold on. This is now the second movie in a row I've reviewed where the main villain is, an evil, ape king. Well, I was not intentional, I swear. Anyways, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is kind of an interesting case because it has 9 out of 10 first half of the movie, but then 6 out of 10 rest of the movie. The first half is so incredible. The world is just beautifully realized. I love how it shows all the ins and outs of ape society post-human dominance. And just the little things, I love how they collect eagle eggs and then raise the eagles as their pets. I love how it shows vegetation and everything growing over cities. It's probably is redundant to say since these new Planet of the Apes movies have been ahead of the VFX game for years, but the effects in this, come on! The way the story progresses in the first half is so interesting. As I mentioned before, you get to see the ins and outs of ape society. How they hunt and how they live with each other and stuff. I love that humans are seen as animals. It's like that. I feel like that is the natural progression of where things would go following the events of War for the Planet of the Apes. I like how it sort of gets you in this cozy mood where you're, hanging out with these characters in their village, and then suddenly these evil apes come in, kidnapping people, killing people, and then one of them's for Caesar, as in that Caesar, and it's what the fuck? That, my friend, is how you get someone hooked on a story. I mean, I guess maybe I would have liked to have known Noah's friends and family a bit more, but yeah, it's fine. You show me some evil apes come in, do some messed up shit, and then say, for Caesar, I'm invested. Where the hell does this shit go? And where it does decide to go is interesting. It's decent, but I feel as though there's some missed potential there. I'll mention a few things first, Noah, the new main character, is pretty compelling and, I liked following him. He's nowhere near as cool or as engaging as Caesar, but, no one is. He was perfectly fine for what the movie was and what it was doing, and, this can certainly imagine a worse protagonist for this movie. He has a really cool part at the end with the eagles that I won't spoil. Watch the movie if you haven't, but it was just so badass, man. There's a human character in this movie, a girl named May, and she was one of the best parts. She provided a really interesting juxtaposition between the apes and the humans, how these two species live differently in this new world, and also the difference in how they think about the world and how they view it. She also does some morally gray things, which, keeps the film from being a simple good versus evil thing. She's genuinely one of the more compelling and investing parts of the film. A lot of people have been hyping up the comedic relief character Rucker, and I thought he was alright. He was entertaining enough. He provides Noah with some exposition on who Caesar was, which arguably isn't entirely necessary, but I guess Noah doesn't know that stuff, so, I don't really know what to say about Rucker. He was chill, he was enjoyable, and he had a sad moment. But, he's a likable supporting character and that's about it. But again, the first half is stellar. The world is just so beautifully realized. It looks great. The setup is engaging. But once we get to the second half, we start to run into some issues. The actual kingdom part of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a really fascinating idea. And it's mostly executed well. But there were some areas where I felt as though I guess I just wish the film did more. So we got Proximus Caesar, this evil, cult leader king figure who's built his own kingdom, and he leads his kingdom and his army with the mindset of following the teachings of Caesar from the reboot trilogy, twisting and distorting what Caesar was really saying. Brilliant idea. There is so much you can do with that. And since it's something that happens in real life all the time, you could do some really great commentary with it. When the bad guy apes rock up to Noah's village and start doing all these atrocious things and say, "For Caesar," that's a shocking moment. But what does it amount to? Some of the bad guy apes say "For Caesar" a few times, and Proximus Caesar, while he's got some of his slaves trying to open the vault, says, "Apes together strong." And then that's kind of it. It doesn't come up again, and almost just feels kind of forgotten. It's such a disappointment, because it's one of the main reasons I wanted to watch the movie. I also find that, Proximus himself is, I won't say wasted, but could have been a little bit better. Or not even necessarily that, but just that he could have used more screen time. Him not showing up at all in the first half, that's completely fine. The build up to him is great. And when he's around, he's fantastic. He is genuinely so unsettling. He'd give me the heebie-jeebies. There's a line of dialogue that he doesn't say it, but it's about him, and let's just say it relates to the level of control he has over the apes in his kingdom, that I thought was, really set, an oppressively unnerving tone. There's a scene where he's talking to Noah, and you can tell somewhere in his twisted little mind he thinks he's right, but it's just something just so off about him. I love the idea that he's this fanatical, almost cult leader, but he just simply isn't given enough screen time to fully flesh out his character. He's in 4 scenes? And it's what's there is great, just please develop it. The thing is, those are my only 2 issues with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I think the rest of the film is really damn good. It's just, those are 2 really big issues. Especially for the second half of the movie where these things really count. It's just so frustrating to me because again, everything else about the film is great, and I think had these 2 parts of the film been explored and developed better, then this could have been a borderline masterpiece. And I mean that, because the first half of this movie is so good, and most of the second half is good. It's like looking at a beautiful painting, it's so well done, but there's just a tiny smudge in the corner, and it doesn't ruin the beauty of the painting, but it's just kind of annoying. Don't get me wrong, I really like this movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which is an 8 out of 10, so that's a really damn good score. But I just feel as though it could have been even higher. Shay Frillis wrote a Letterboxd review for The Lobster that I am now going to read out loud to you. "This was an extremely smart, tightly written, borderline perfect movie for about the first 75% of its runtime. But that last 25% was kinda clunky and didn't make great use of this creative premise all that well, and the score got really repetitive after a while. It's still a great movie, but it's always a little disappointing when it seems like you've got a new all-time favorite on your hands, and instead you're left with just a regular great movie. If the first act was the weak part, I might be singing a different tune, but still pretty good overall." And that's kind of how I feel about this movie. I find that great movies that are almost masterpieces are sometimes more frustrating than just regular flawed movies, because it's you're so good and you're almost to just the higher level. You're almost there. But Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, even though I've been critical towards it, I still really enjoy this movie. Honestly, I think this movie is better than Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's so damn good overall. It's just that it's almost as good as Dawn for me. And it's just a little annoying that it doesn't quite reach those levels. I think it's something I might need to watch again to see if my thoughts change with time. But yeah, as I said, great movie, but it could have been an excellent movie. But now, speaking of excellent movies, now let me get something straight real quick. I wouldn't consider myself a aficionado on the Mad Max franchise. In fact, the only Mad Max film I've seen before this one is Mad Max Fury Road. But, that being said, I consider Mad Max Fury Road to be one of the greatest action films of all time. And one of the best parts of Fury Road was the character of Furiosa. So, an entire movie about just Furiosa? Okay, let's see where this goes. Turns out where this goes is the best action movie of 2024. I mean, it's possible that something might come out that blows this film out of the water, but I doubt it. Unless you want to count Dune Part 2 as an action movie, but I wouldn't. I mean, it has action scenes, but like the focus isn't on the action. Anyways, God, Furiosa is... I love movies. To put it simply, I was sleep deprived as shit watching this in the cinema, but this movie woke me the hell up. What we have here is a prequel film about Furiosa when she was younger, going from when she was a child to when she's an adult. Shut the hell up, phone, I'm talking about Furiosa. Anyways, we get to see the traumatic events in her childhood that come to shape her into the person she is now, how she gets to where she is at the start of Mad Max Fury Road, and most importantly for this movie specifically, how she comes to seek revenge against Dr. Dementis. God, what a name. We've had some crazy ass names in this video. Proximus Caesar, Furiosa, Dr. Dementis. Anyways, right off the bat, Furiosa is a very different movie to Mad Max Fury Road, whereas that story was like a non-stop chase pretty much. Furiosa is a little more story-focused. A lot of time is spent on Furiosa as a child. We see her get sort of raised by Dementis and how that comes to shape who she is, especially when Dementis gives her to Immortan Joe. We see how Dementis killing her mother scars her for life and how that sets her on this path of vengeance. It is just as much a character-focused revenge drama as it is an action film, and I really like that. It added a lot to the Furiosa character for me. And when we do get to the action, it does not disappoint. This is some exhilarating stuff, man. This film does rely a little more on VFX than Mad Max Fury Road did, but it's only really those few shots, and it looks fantastic in every other aspect. And there's still plenty of great practical stuff, so it's not like you're watching like a 3D animated movie masquerading as live action, unlike some other movies I can think of. Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job at playing the Furiosa role, and this may be shocking to you if you know me and you know I love Anya Taylor-Joy, but when I heard that she was being cast as Furiosa, I was a little skeptical. I love her, she's amazing, she's perfect, but I just didn't know if I could buy her as a young Furiosa. So you see, in Fury Road, Furiosa was played by Charlize Theron, and Charlize Theron is a very different person to Anya Taylor-Joy. But, Tom Hardy was recast as Max from Mel Gibson, and, they aren't exactly similar looking fellas either, and Tom Hardy did the role really well. So I gave Anya the benefit of the doubt, and I'm glad I did. Anya is so good in this movie. The way she really captures, the buried pain of the character. You feel the rage and the hatred, but also the agony and the sadness, and it's so impactful. Chris Hemsworth as Dr. Dementis. Jesus Christ. Talk about a fantastic villain. The screen presence he has is unmatched. This is a Furiosa movie, but whenever Dr. Dementis is on screen, he's the main character, okay? He's the perfect mix of, entertaining, kind of funny, but also terrifying. The line delivery, the performance, it's so good. I understand why Furiosa wants to kill this guy, but god damn it. He's just... I'm willing to bet this man is the best Mad Max villain. To be fair, I have not seen the Mel Gibson trilogy yet, but, come on. It doesn't get better than this. Because I doubt that it does. It's probably Chris Hemsworth's best performance he's ever done, bar Billy Lee from Bad Times of the El Royale. He's pretty fantastic as that character. Quick side note, watch Bad Times of the El Royale if you haven't. It's an excellent crime thriller. Anyways, back to Furiosa. I guess if I were to say I had any issues with the film, I guess one would be, I think, this is really nitpicky. So, this isn't anything major at all, but I think it's kind of weird that Furiosa's birth name is Furiosa. I always just thought that Furiosa was a nickname or something, sort of like how Mad Max's name isn't actually Mad Max. But then in the opening scene of the film, when she's still a child, you see this shot of her reaching out and grabbing a fruit, and her friend is oh, Furiosa! And it's wait, so that's just her name? What a thing to name your baby. Oh, so beautiful. My darling angel, Furiosa. I also would have liked to have gotten to know Furiosa's mother a bit more. I know the film is more about the relationship between Furiosa and Dr. Dementis, But Furiosa's mother's death is still a pretty important part of the film, and I just wish that we knew her a bit beforehand. It would have made her death feel more impactful, and it would have made me feel more on board with Furiosa's revenge quest. But on the whole, Furiosa is an excellent sci-fi action movie and one of the best prequels of all time. Is it as good or even better than Fury Road? No, but it's not far behind. I'm not even sure if it's still playing in cinemas as of me recording this video, but if it is, please go see it while you still can. Don't go in expecting Fury Road 2 because it's not. Despite being aesthetically similar, like the actual kind of film this is very different. So just go in with that mindset and prepare to be blown away. Much like when Fury Road came out, a lot of right-wing idiots are saying, oh, they're trying to turn Mad Max into a chick flick and It really upsets me that you can't just make a female-led action film that without dipshits like being dipshit. Oh, Anya Taylor-Joy wouldn't survive a day in the wasteland. Neither would you! For instance, take the James Bond films. James Bond does some crazy shit that has like a 100% chance of killing you in real life. But y'all don't complain about that. Come to think of it, it's also pretty unrealistic that James Bond doesn't have some kind of STD by now. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little 2-in-1 special review thing. If you did, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support really helps out. I also have a Letterboxd page that I'm incredibly active on. That's pretty much the main place to go to between my uploads. I also have an Instagram you can check out. I post a lot of stuff about my cat. Links for both of those will be in the description below. And with that, that's about everything I want to say. Next video should be an in-depth analysis video, so look forward to that. I'm also planning on doing some more video game videos this year, because it's been a long-ass time since I've done one, and I miss doing them. In particular, there's an indie game that I would really love to talk about on the channel that I guarantee you have not heard of, unless you're like into ultra niche stuff like me. And yeah, that's about all she wrote. So I'll see you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye!